World War II, a global conflict etched in our collective memory. We recall the beaches of Normandy, the frozen plains of Stalingrad, the horrors of the Pacific Theater, but nestled in the rugged terrain of northeast India, another battle raged, a struggle as fierce and decisive as any other. This was the Battle of Kohima, a clash that pitted the might of the Japanese Imperial Army against a determined force of British and Indian soldiers. It was a battle for survival, a fight for India itself. And yet, it remains a largely forgotten chapter in the annals of World War II. The Battle of Kohima was no sideshow. It was a brutal close-quarters fight, a struggle for every inch of ground. Imagine a battlefield marked by steep hills, dense jungle, and a constant sense of danger. The Japanese, veterans of jungle warfare, fought with their trademark ferocity. Facing them were British and Indian troops, outnumbered but undeterred. This was a conflict where courage and determination would be tested to the limit. The story of Kohima is not just one of military strategy and tactics. It is a human story, a tale of incredible resilience and sacrifice. It's about the soldiers who fought and died in those jungles, far from home, defending a land not their own. It's about the civilians caught in the crossfire, their lives upended by the violence. And it's a story that deserves to be told. This is the story of the Battle of Kohima, a battle that helped shape the fate of Asia and the outcome of World War II. It is a story of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. It is a story that must not be forgotten. By 1944, the tide of World War II was slowly turning against Japan. The once invincible Imperial Army had suffered defeats in the Pacific. The Allies were gaining ground, yet in the minds of Japanese military planners, a bold stroke was still possible. Their target, India, the crown jewel of the British Empire, the plan was audacious, some might say reckless. The Japanese envisioned a two-pronged offensive. One thrust would target the city of Imphal, a key supply hub in northeast India. The second would strike south, capturing Kohima and cutting off the main road linking Imphal to the rest of India. With Imphal isolated and Kohima under Japanese control, the road to India would lay open. The Japanese High Command believed that capturing India would be a devastating blow to British morale. It would sever vital supply lines to Allied forces in Asia. And perhaps most importantly, it would demonstrate Japan's continued strength and determination to the world. The stakes were high, and the Japanese were prepared to gamble on a daring offensive. Kohima, a small hill town perched atop a strategic ridge, became a linchpin in this grand scheme. Control of Kohima meant control of the vital road link, the lifeline for Allied forces in Imphal. The Japanese were confident in their ability to capture Kohima. They had experience fighting in the jungles of Southeast Asia. They had the element of surprise, and they underestimated the resolve of the defenders. Little did they know, they were about to face a determined enemy in a battle that would shatter their dreams of conquest and mark a turning point in the war in Asia. As the Japanese offensive gathered momentum, the defenders of Kohima found themselves in a perilous position. Outnumbered and outgunned, the garrison consisted of a patchwork force of British, Indian, and Nepalese troops. They were a diverse group, united by their determination to hold the line against the enemy. The siege of Kohima began in earnest in early April 1944. The Japanese attacked relentlessly, their artillery bombarding the defenders' positions. The defenders fought back with courage and tenacity, repelling wave after wave of Japanese assaults. But the situation was becoming increasingly desperate. Ammunition ran low, food and water were scarce. The constant shelling and close-quarters fighting took a heavy toll on the defenders, casualties mounted, yet the defenders of Kohima refused to yield. They knew that the fate of India and perhaps the outcome of the war in Asia hung in the balance. Amidst the chaos and carnage, a sense of camaraderie emerged among the defenders. British and Indian soldiers fought side by side, sharing the same dangers and hardships. There was a shared understanding that they were fighting for something larger than themselves. They were fighting for their comrades, for their countries, and for the very survival of freedom in Asia. The siege of Kohima would test the limits of human endurance. It would be a battle fought not just with guns and grenades, but with sheer willpower and an unshakable belief in the righteousness of their cause. The world watched as a small band of defenders held the line against an enemy determined to conquer India. The outcome was far from certain, but one thing was clear: the defenders of Kohima would not break.